Chloe has hated housework her whole life. That's why she recently had a big fight with her stepmother and left her father's house. Her father, instead of understanding and supporting his daughter, took the stepmother's side. He also believes that the girl should devote a lot of time to housework, even if she's very tired and doesn't want to do it. Then Chloe came to her friend Mary, who has long been independently renting an apartment and lives without care and parental care. The long-standing dream of the two friends came true. Now, they can safely order food delivery for dinner, and boxes and bottles hide under the bed. They do the cleaning if they're going to have guests over. This morning, that day came. Mary reported it. "Chloe, please clean the apartment and put your colorful underwear in the closet. Steve will come over tonight. He's not used to such a mess as ours," she said. Mary really wanted to object, but her friend was right. Her colorful underpants had indeed long ago settled in different corners of the big apartment, and now they could be found in the most unexpected places. "But they are cute," Chloe objected, but she still hadn't managed to start cleaning. She was scrolling through her social networks, and there was a lot of interesting stuff there. She was distracted by the doorbell. Chloe was frightened that Mary and her friend had decided to come so early. She rolled her eyes, waved her hands, and headed for the door. On the way, she managed to pick up a pair of her underwear and put them under the couch cushion. When she opened the door, she was surprised to see a stranger on the doorstep. "Hi, I apologize for the inconvenience. I live upstairs. I'm having a little domestic problem. Can you help me out?" A handsome guy in a stylish shirt smiled at her. "Household issues? It's nothing. But you men always have problems with it, because you're not adaptable to life," Chloe said in a businesslike manner. "You're right. We're totally unadapted to everyday life. But lucky you have it masterfully. Could you help me start the washing machine? 'Cause I lost the paper manual," said the guy, slightly embarrassed. Chloe went up to her neighbor's apartment. Thankfully, she had no problems with the operating home appliances. She helped him start the washing machine, and he turned out to be a nice conversationalist. "My name is Kevin. I moved here a while ago. I don't know many people here." He introduced himself. "I'm Chloe. I'm living here a long time," she said, even though she had moved here less than 2 months ago. "This is great. Is there anything interesting here for leisure?" he asked. "Of course I do. Across the street lives old man Morgan. He runs a shelter for wild animals that need medical attention and care. In fact, Morgan's doing a charity event right now. He needs all the help he can get. You can at least tell your friends about this cause. If you want, we can walk to him sometime and you can see everything with your own eyes," Chloe suggested it. Kevin reluctantly agreed because he needed something to distract himself with. "That's it. When the cycle is over, the machine will signal itself. All you have to do is get the clean stuff out," she concluded. "Thank you, Chloe. You really helped me out. I'll be sure to go with you to Morgan's," he promised and closed the door behind her. Back at the apartment, Chloe caught her friend Mary there with her boyfriend Steve. She caught them at the moment when Steve jokingly made remarks about their accommodation. "You have a beautiful apartment, spacious and cozy. But why it's such a mess? You're girls. It shouldn't be hard for you to keep it clean and tidy, right? It's like us boys. We are not adapted to it at all. We can't do it without domestic stuff." Steve smiled. Mary clearly didn't like it. "Steve, you know, I've always kept things in order. It's just that reluctantly, There were two of us, and now my friend forgets to put her things in the closet every now and then, she justified. Chloe realized that she had let her friend down, but she had nothing to say for herself. Yes, I'm that lazy friend, Mary, she said. After that, they quickly switched to other topics. The evening stopped being boring. After staying home for a while, Steve offered them the company of his friends. My friend Alvin into animals too, Chloe. I'd like you to meet him. I'm sure you two will get along, Steve suggested, and Chloe liked that suggestion. So why are we sitting at home? We shall organize a party, invite Alvin, and introduce us, she suggested. Mary and Steve supported her. A couple of days later, Chloe was sitting alone on the floor of the apartment again. Mary was still insisting that she should clean up, and Chloe was getting quickly depressed. Instead of the vacuum cleaner, her smartphone was back in her hands, and there were so many important and urgent things on there. Chloe came back to reality when the doorbell rang. Anticipating her friend's anger, she went to open it. But this time, the wary neighbor stood on the doorstep. Hi, I'm sorry to bother you again. I wanted to make yourself a coffee, but I got a strange substance instead. Do you know how to make coffee? Could you help me? Kevin said and looked at her with hope in his eyes. God, you're ridiculous in your helplessness. Well, if it's that bad, I guess I will help. Just for a little while. I can't stay long. I've got things to do around the house, said Chloe before going up to the apartment. She still didn't lose hope in herself that she would find the willpower to clean up the house. Making coffee turned out to be a much more exciting process than helping with the laundry. Kevin insisted that Chloe should sit with him and share his evening. They talked a lot at the table. He treated her to cake, told her about his plans for the future, listened with interest to her story about Morgan's orphanage. It was well past midnight before they noticed. When Chloe returned to the apartment, Mary was already home. I think I'm in the wrong door. Do we have such perfect order? Mary, you're not a friend. You're the seventh wonder of the world. Tell me, how can I thank you for the fact that I once again did the cleaning? Chloe rejoiced. Come on, it's nothing. Why don't you tell me what's going on with your new neighbor? You've been missing from his place a lot, Mary said. Nothing going on. It's just that he's so inept that he has to be told how to do everything. He can't even run a washing machine by himself, and he can't even make coffee for himself. So, I'm teaching him, Chloe answered honestly. I think you two might have something. Look at him, he's cute, and his face looks very familiar to me. Is he from a famous family by any chance? Mary asked. No, he's a regular guy. He doesn't say anything about his parents. They are probably drunks or unemployed, living in poverty, so he's hiding them. Otherwise, the first thing he'd do is brag about them. And Kevin himself does not like a rich man's son. He's a very modest and shy guy, said Chloe. Look, you know best. She smiled, but for some reason she didn't believe her friend's words. A few more days passed and Kevin finally managed to find time to go to Morgan's shelter for forest animals. Chloe told about her weekend animal with such passion that Kevin occasionally fell into pity and despondency. This can't go on, Chloe. Why does our society allow such injustice? Why are all those people who harm innocent animals still not punished? Why aren't their names known to the general public? Where are our authorities looking? This is a blatant injustice. He was outraged on his way back from Morgan's shelter. That's why I brought out on this case. We need to rock this issue. Let everyone know what's going on around them. If you care about those sweet creatures, we need to continue to work together. Do you mind? Chloe asked. I'm all for it. Also, I have great friends who can do a lot to bring the plight of those animals to public attention. I will put them on notice today. I'm sure they will want to see it for themselves too. You and I will bring them here, Kevin promised. At that moment, they stood at the entrance, stopped for a moment, and from the excess of feeling, hugged each other, and then went to their apartments. This happened several times. Meanwhile, the head of the Milton Harry household was still angry with his youngest son. Sarah, dear, my boys have been following our little Brad and have found out something about him. I think you will be curious to hear about it, he said at the table. Hurry. Darling, don't drag it out. Tell me quickly. You can see for yourself that I think of our son day and night. Your conflict with him was unnecessary. I'm so sorry my little boy slammed the door and left home, lamented wife Sarah. Kevin didn't go to our country house. He didn't even go to one of our city apartments. He didn't even check into one of our friends' dozen hotels. You stubborn bastard, Harry said with annoyance. Oh my gosh. What is all this? Where does he live, then? I hope Kevin went to our villa by the sea. Is that where he's staying? Hurry, don't scare me. Sarah was getting impatient. No, he didn't even go to the villa. He rented an apartment in an ordinary apartment building. Sarah, can you imagine? Now our son lives in an ordinary grey house that doesn't even have its own pool and playground. Can you imagine how insolent he is? My anger towards him knows no bounds. It's an insult to him. He's insulted our social standing, Sarah. We have to do something about this. Harry lamented. He should slip him the keys to a castle or villa. Let him fly there and live there until you two get along, Sarah complained. Sarah, I'm afraid he won't go anywhere because he's gotten involved with some girl in that regular house. She won't leave his side. They're everywhere together. We need to get that girl out of his life first, said Harry. What's girl, Harry? What's about Laura, your best friend's daughter? Did he break up with such a promising bride? But she's the only girl in this town worthy of our family. Harry, I'm calling Laura. Sarah was panicking. That evening, there was a commotion in the family. Laura told Kevin's parents that their relationship had deteriorated lately, and that she didn't know about his new location either. The Milton couple had no doubt. As soon as their promising Harry stepped into the circle of the most ordinary people, he immediately became a prey for predators, which were already very much around this family. Therefore, Sarah knew what to do in such cases to get rid of such gold seekers. Meanwhile, Mary once again resented how quickly the order in the apartment she was put in it was being lost. Chloe, my dear friend, I'm tired of picking up after you. You need to learn to clean up your own mess, she said again. As usual, Chloe was sitting on the floor in the middle of the pile of her things and didn't find time to sort them out. Something very urgent was going on in her social networks, which required her attention, and Mary was only in her way. I've already honestly admitted to you that I don't like to do housework. I'm sorry, Mary, she replied. I realize that, but when you get married and own your own home, it's going to be hard. I don't even want to think about it. I will try to get married so that my husband can provide for my household stuff. If not, I would rather live alone, replied Chloe. Dreamer. Okay, I will clean up. You just finish your social media squabbles. We are going to have a delicious dinner, said Mary and got down to business. At the moment when the doorbell rang, Mary was hard at work scrubbing the floors and was wearing headphones. That's why Chloe went to open the door. She hoped to see Kevin, with whom they had another visit to the orphanage today. But there was a strange woman standing there. "Is that what are you?" she said, looking Chloe over from head to toe. "Come out, we need to talk." "I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you," Chloe asked, following her into the stairwell. "Oh, she's still pretending. You know me very well. The whole country and beyond knows me. You're not a very good actress." "Now are you a bride for my son?" said the woman. "I'm sorry, I don't know. What are you talking about? Who's your son? What's fiancé?" Chloe was genuinely perplexed. "I don't have time to argue with you. Here you go. There is no here to live here and settle anywhere in the world. You shall no longer be in my son's Kevin's life," said the woman, holding out several wands of money. "Oh, how interesting. Are you Kevin's mother? I thought his mom was some kind of drunk or didn't exist. But I guess I was wrong. You're so gorgeous and beautiful. You must be rich. I guess that already, thank you. I just don't understand why I have to disappear from his life. He and I have big plans, and we've only just started on them. Kevin had promised to do everything he can to make sure we accomplish our goals together. Are we going to interfere with them?" Chloe was indignant. "Girl, I've told you everything. If you show up near my son again, I will be dealt with differently," Sarah said, turn out and walk away. Chloe returned to the apartment completely happy. She turned off the vacuum cleaner and pulled the headphones out of her friend's ears. "Mary, stop fussing. Look how much money we have. We can use it to call a cleaning service for the rest of our lives and never have to worry about cleaning." Chloe rejoiced, spreading the bundles out the floor. Then she explained everything to Mary, but she didn't understand a thing. "What are you going to do? There was nothing going on between you and Kevin, was there? Or is there something I don't know?" she asked. "You're right. Nothing happened. But his mom thinks we're having an affair. Look, if it's such a rich family, why not have an affair with Kevin? He's good to me. We're good friends. All we have to do is explain to his mom that can't stop us. I think I know how to do it," Chloe said dreamily. Mary listened to her friend, but in the end she laughed because Chloe's plans seemed crazy to her. But that night, Chloe made a firm decision to have an affair with Kevin, to marry him and become a member of his amazing family. From that day on, she actively began to study Kevin's life, and it turns out everything was on the surface. Everything that was going on in the life of the famous furniture magnate Milton was known to everyone. Just Chloe had not paid attention before, but now she knew everything. A few days later, Sarah was leaving the spa when an unfamiliar man approached her and asked for a few minutes for an important conversation. Sarah invited him into her car. "No one can know we're meeting. I'm a real hitman. I was hired to kill you. I started following you and noticed that you were a very attractive woman. I didn't want to kill you, so I decided to come clean," he said. "Oh my God, really? Who could that be? Why? I've never hurt anyone in my life. You have to tell me the customer," Sarah demanded, but the man wouldn't give up. Do you now fear for your life? He asked at the end of the argument. Yes, our family has a good security service, but I'm still afraid. Everyone knows us, she replied. My customers said that if you stop meddling in your son's private life, nothing bad will happen to you. Otherwise, I will actually have to kill you because I took a lot of money. Okay, I gotta go, said the man, got out of the car and disappeared into the crowd. From that day on, Sarah thought a lot about her son and his personal life. The conflict with his father also occurred on this ground, after which Kevin gave up all the family regalia and advantages. He left to build his own life practically from scratch, and it seemed that he began to success. He gave up his parents' possessions and money, started working and living his life on his own. And Harry and Sarah were beginning to have a huge idea that their son was old enough to make his own decisions. Harry talked to his wife about it, and their opinions were in agreement. Then they decided to take the first step and invite their son to a family dinner. At the table, they were going to admit that they were wrong and let Kevin know that they recognized his independence. On the appointed day, Sarah had domestic staff prepare all for Kevin's favorite dishes. He didn't come alone. Next to him was an familiar, smiling guy. Dad, Mom, I'm glad we made up. I'm still living in my new place. I'm making enough to cover the rent. Brooks will be living with me now. He and I love each other, Kevin said, and the smiling boy took his hand and kissed it gently. Harry and Sarah, who had just promised not to meddle in their son's private life, were once again in shock. They barely waited for Kevin and his partner to leave their home, and immediately after both husband and wife were once again scrambling to talk their son out of the untypical union. Meanwhile, across town, Chloe sat on the floor and dreamed of the day when all the housework will be done for her by the domestic staff. Mary didn't believe that. She decided to talk about something else. How's your affair with Kevin going? She asked. He and I are doing great. We love each other and we want to be together for life. Only his mom has to tell me about it, Chloe said. Chloe, you are crazy. How can you imagine Sarah Milton coming up to a girl from a straight family and asking to be part of her family? You will be better off doing your homework. Mary grinned. At that moment, the doorbell rang again. Mary went to open it. When she saw Sarah Milton on the doorstep, whom she had seen only on TV before, she immediately realized that they had come for Chloe. Further actions took place before her eyes. Chloe, my girl, you like our Kevin, don't you? You should be with him, she said. Yes, but you were against it, Chloe answered coldly. Not anymore. Go to him. We'll pay for your wedding. Be happy with my son. You can live in our country house. There is already domestic staff and a good garden near, Sarah said one last time. After she left, Mary took the champagne out of the refrigerator and poured it into the glasses. No sooner had they taken a sip than the doorbell rang again. Chloe went to open it. She talked to the two strange guys for a couple of minutes, then paid them for something and returned to the table. Who are those people? Mary asked. Actors. I had to use them, and Sarah Milton gave me the money. But that's not important. Let's talk about my upcoming wedding, Chloe suggested, and Mary was fine with it.